Hi guys, welcome to Workflow Matters. I'm Adam. Recently I've been playing with the Teams connector step to post messages into channels in Teams. I really like it, it's so easy to set up, and one of my favorite things about it is you probably don't even need to tell your Teams admin that you're doing it. So let's look at how you can set it up from start to finish, and I want to show you how you can do some of the clever formatting as well. Now there's lots of reasons to use the Teams connector step. I'm going to talk to you about the most traditional reason and the most common way to use it. In this case we have a stakeholder communication form which we're using to notify our stakeholders about any incidents that are ongoing in the IT infrastructure. We regularly come in here, put in some details about that incident, what services are affected, what stage we are in the incident, and a text summary of what's going on. And then when we come to send this, we get a nice email and app notification and the text messages as well. People are going to get those emails and text messages if they're subscribed in xMatters, and we want to continue using that process. What would be great is to also go to a message board where people who aren't subscribed can also see some of this information. Now we can do that with Teams by notifying into a standard channel which we'll create in Teams. There's actually two ways to interface with Teams. There's the Graph API, which we'll look at another time, and then there's the Teams connector, which is slightly older and is definitely more limited, but when it comes to just one message into a fixed channel, it's actually perfect. So let's look at that. So let's go configure this workflow. Coming back out to the top of the workflow and crossing over to the Flow Designer tab, we can create a flow on this form. In the triggers, let's pull in the event status trigger. This trigger starts flows when events change status. They change status when they become active, that's a new event, and they also change status when they end, that's a terminated event status. So to manage that, we can use the switch to narrow down the conditions when we run this flow. Connect it up to the trigger. Let's just check out the outputs of that trigger. And it's this event status that I'm interested in. The active event status is just for those new events. What I'm going to do is set a property here. I'm going to set that to look at the event status. And then we can create a new path for those active flows. And this is going to be the path which runs when we have that new event. So we want to connect that up to Teams. So let's find the Teams step. Today we're going to use the post to channel steps. Let's bring that in and connect it up. Now the post to channel connector step works with a connector which is configured in the Teams side. So let's go do that and then we can put that into this step configuration. Over in Teams, I have a team here created already. I'm also going to create a channel within the team that anyone can subscribe to. To post in with the connector step, we need to create what Teams call a connector here in the channel. That's a URL which is specifically for this channel in Teams. Connectors can be found in the three dots menu at the top, and you'll see that there's actually a lot of different tools that they have here that you can post in. xMatters sadly is not one of them, but we can use the incoming webhook. So if we just do an add there, then we're adding that technology to the channel. Now we haven't actually created a connector at this point, so let's go back into the connectors. And now we can see that we've got incoming webhook at the top and we can configure it, which is what we actually want to do. Okay, great. This is the connector that xMatters is going to use to post. The details that you have here are going to be actually what people see for the post that's made. So the name is going to be the name of the person that's posting into the channel and the image is going to be their image. So it's worthwhile putting in something that makes sense. And I have an image prepared already, which I'm going to use. Click Create. And then browse back down again, and Microsoft will give you a URL here, which we're going to use in the step configuration. Copy that to the clipboard, and now we can configure that step. Create a new endpoint on the Endpoint tab, and paste in that URL. This endpoint is specific to that channel that we've created the connector in. You can create other endpoints if you want for other channels. I'm going to name this after the channel which the connector is configured in. Save that, and close. Now back in the setup of the post to channel step, we can put the message that we want to go into the channel. Of course, we can use the alert properties that we have from the form in the message. So now you can get creative and put together the message that you want people to see. I'm going to have the update type in first, use this bar to separate, then I'm going to talk about the severity. I also want people to know what the incident number is. You can use new line characters if you want. They look fine in the message. And finally, of course, the important summary. I also want to tell people where they can go if they've got any questions or any problems with that. I want them to come back to me and the incident management team. So I'm going to write a message there at the bottom. Now you can actually use quite a lot of Markdown in the message text. Sadly, it's not the same Markdown that you can use in Teams. I'll put a link in the description below to the page that describes some of it. With testing, I've found that it's not entirely accurate. Here's what I've discovered you can do. You can certainly do links. They're very useful, so let's make this into a link. You can also do subscript, which I think is pretty neat. You can do bold and italics. Cool, let's give it a go. Save that and save the canvas. I'm going to go and send a message. High severity, of course. And we've got it's on the billing service. Nice. I think that looks pretty good. You can see that we've got the different markdowns coming through there nicely, and that is indeed a link. So now it's over to you to get creative. I've seen people use this for all sorts of stuff. Also let us know if you've got any ideas for videos of anything you're struggling with or anything that's not clear. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips and tricks from me, and I'll see you next time.